All right, we've got the pod glued onto the wing here, nice and secure. Got some glue seams along here, here, on the inside here, outside here, and then on the bottom as well. So that should hold it nice and sturdy onto the wing. Shouldn't be going anywhere, hopefully. Okay. Next step is to do the tail kind of assembly here onto the rest of the plane. So like I mentioned in the other video, these pieces of foam here that get the foam melts away on these really small points, so the paper gets kind of floppy and scratchy. You can just cut that kind of off if you want to. Don't cut too far, but I'm just going to snip it off because it kind of makes it a little bit more of a pain to try to get these worked onto the plane. And they just, also the sound kind of bugs me. Everyone's got those sounds that maybe aren't their favorite. I guess that's one of mine. I'm going to do the same thing on the wing side on these little um, stingers here to kind of snip them just a little bit down so we get rid of that paper. Okay, that looks much better. If the paper is peeling off a little bit like this, you can just put a little teeny dab of glue on there if you want to glue it back on so it doesn't peel off anymore. I might do that real quick. Just a really small, like kind of spread the glue right there. Don't need a lot of glue for something that small, especially when it's really hot glue, like these glue guns have. Okay, so now we're ready to place this piece, this piece on here. It's going to kind of go on the, these will go in the middle, and then these are on the outside, and it should fit pretty well. If you glue it together correctly beforehand, if you glue the tail piece together well, this should fit pretty well here. And slide right on down until it sticks like that. So you can see that the wing is sliding into the slot that the is on the elevator or tail empennage piece. So it slides down until it stops, and that's where it should sit. Okay. So what I'm going to do is kind of slide it back a little bit. So it's still on there, but not, all the way on. I'm going to put some glue where the pieces are going to go to kind of tack it in place again. Okay. And then I'll slide it on, tack it in place, and then do some seams again to kind of help it stay on. You can do a little bit, just a little, you can even mark it if you want. Say, okay, how far is it going to go? It's going to go up to about right there. So just short of this kind of bowed out portion of the motor cutout. It's about there, so we'll bring it back to about here. I'll just put a strip of glue about that long here, here, and then on the bottom, you can actually kind of see better where it's going to go with those marks. Sorry, you can see those marks there on the cutout. So that's where it should sit. If we hadn't cut those tips off, it would go a little bit further with the paper, right? But that part's kind of gone anyway. So you can use the bottom reference lines there to kind of run the glue up, but don't go all the way to the end of the lines. If you cut the tips of this off, you'll just have extra glue. I would kind of suggest just staying in the middle range here of where the prop cutout is. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. And remember, the hot glue guns we have are plenty hot, so it'll stay hot enough for you to do all four of these. So we're just gonna kind of go like this. 1, 2, but flip it over here. Let's do a little line, try to get in front of the 3, 4. Okay. And we'll slide this up, hopefully right into those glue tack points we just did. Again, if you have any extra glue or it didn't line up right, just kind of squeegee it off. Try to get all the excess off so we don't have a bunch of extra glue blobs all over the place. That just makes it messy and adds weight to the plane and stuff that you don't need. There we go. Looks pretty good. Make sure it's on there all the way. Nice and firm. Pressing down there to make sure it's not tilted or skewed at all. As it's cooling, we'll let it cool for a minute so we don't bump it too much. As I bump it here on camera. So don't bump it too much. We'll let that sit there for just a second. Well, that's cooling off or drying. We'll gather our other pieces. Okay. The other pieces we have left are basically, there's a couple small squarish pieces, okay, like these ones here. All right, these are going to go on the top of this little pod. This squarish one that's the most like a square, I guess, is going to go in the front. This rectangular one is going to go in the back. And this one's supposed to be like a little, kind of like a little hatch. So we'll do some work with that one, allow it to open and close. So you can put your battery in and take your battery out of your plane. We won't glue any of those on for now because we still need to put electronics in and stuff in the plane. But just so you know, that's where those are going to go. We won't do too much with those yet. We have these two big rectangular pieces though, and they are lined. Let's see here if you can see that. Focus, there we go. We got this line on them that's been cut with a laser, and it's right by the edge of the foam. So what we need to do with this one, oops, is kind of like our ailerons and elevator. We need to either cut it at a 45 or crush it at a 45 or sand it to a 45 because these pieces are going to go on the leading edge of the wing, just like so. And we want there to be a little bit of a bevel so it has a kind of like an airfoil shape, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and slice one of these into a 45, well, both of them actually, and then when we come back, we'll finish doing the seam here on the tail, and then we'll glue these pieces on as well.